check. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, what's up? Let's set up the video. I'm Ellis. You probably don't care. Angelina Jordan covers When You Believe by Whitney Houston featuring Mariah Carey. Okay, so here's what's typically up with Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. Is I don't know the titles of songs. So I actually don't know if I know this song or not. Yeah, I could have went and looked it up. But now I have the element of surprise, man, where like if I don't recognize the song, then I get to just appreciate her version of it. And if I do recognize the song, then I can be like, oh, look at what she did. So that's how I'm approaching the video. Let's do it. What else is there to do? Let's do it. You good? You good. Oh, and yeah, I've heard her sing before. She's awesome. We know that. That's why I'm coming back to the well. Solid start.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful sound we barely understood. No, we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we know we could.
Yeah, so if I hear something, I'm gonna interrupt, bro. That's just how it is. Okay, so this is very laid back. Her phrasing is super fantastic. But one thing I would like you to notice about the phrasing, if it wasn't clear to you, is when you play slow music, there's a tendency to drag, right? Because you start feeling the music. Like when music's happy, you speed up. When music is sad, you slow down. But the ideal performance is to keep it all together. Don't actually slow down. Don't actually speed up. Keep it where you want. And so if you listen to her singing the phrases, how slow they sound, if you listen, the end of the phrases come right before the downbeat, like right before the next note's supposed to be there, and her words start right on the note. She's not dragging behind at all, even though it's slow.
Whoa, there can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is real, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Somehow you will. You will when you believe. In this time of fear, when prayer is soft and bruised in vain, hope seems like the summer birds, too swiftly flown away. I'm standing here, my heart's so.
I'm gonna back up. I just like that chord change. I like the melody chord change on that little part.
Birds too swiftly flown away. Yet I'm
Right there.
standing here, my heart's so full I can't explain. Seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. It's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Somehow you will. You will when you
Wait, that's it? We're over already? Is that true? Yeah. All right. Well, let's finish it out then, man. Okay, that's also a sign. A slow song that you don't know is about to be over. That's a great performance. A lot of times with a slow song, with me, I don't know about you, but with me, we get about a minute and a half in, 2 minutes in, and the beauty has worn off, and now I'm like, okay, this song's, you know, especially if you're talking about like a 5-minute ballad type of situation. This is a little over 3 minutes, but still, you know, once I hear, and I'm not being like a smart ass, I'm just saying, like, you know, once you hear intro, verse, chorus, usually the sections pretty much repeat identically, and then to me it gets kind of boring. Except for when someone does such a good job performing, you kind of get sucked in. So that was awesome. Also, talking about tendencies when you're when you're playing along with romantic music, sad music, slow music, right? The tendency to drag, we talked about that. The other tendency is to get so caught up in trying to be emotional, to be emotive, that you actually lose energy. Right? You're trying to be sad or nostalgic or insert emotional term. And you get caught in that as the performer, right? As a singer, you start singing with less air, you start singing softer, or as a guitarist, you start plucking the strings lighter. Maybe a horn player, same thing, airflow. You know, a string player, maybe you start moving the bow, you know, slow. But here's the thing though, when you do that, you lose energy from the actual sound you're producing. So I think it's extremely difficult to maintain that sad vibe, that emotional vibe, while still maintaining energy in your phrases. And I think she nailed that. Something I don't really sing in the upper register. I'm not a good singer, right? Otherwise I'd be making lots of singing videos. But a lot of times singers, when they start going up in the range, like through the song, because there's always a part in the song, right, where you go up, typically when it comes to pop music, dance music, mainstream music, there's always a section where the melody goes up. It's very common. I mean, maybe it's not all the time, but it's very typical. Like if you drew a line across all the top notes in all the sections, you will find a mountain somewhere in there. Again, the tendency with a singer, especially if they're singing above their technical threshold, they will belt into those high notes. And on a sad song like this, she maintained a certain vibe the whole way through. And if she had belted out one note or two notes, it really could have completely changed the mood of the song. She didn't do that. So yeah, all around just savage. And these things that I'm pointing out, like, it might be, I don't know what you think about them, but if you are a musician, right, that's really who this applies to, is musicians, is play something sad and just record yourself and listen to it. And listen for those couple of certain elements. Lack of energy in phrases, lack of accurate rhythms at slower speeds, and a tendency to drag. Now, if you're playing with a metronome or pre-recorded track, you're not going to be able to get away with dragging. But if you're playing with a good live band and you're the singer or you have the lead melody, oftentimes the people backing you up will drag to make sure that your melody fits where it needs to. And then when you go into the next section, you are many BPMs behind where you should be. So that's that. And no, I didn't recognize the song. Facts, just didn't recognize it. Good job, though. Good job. Out.